Silver Fern Farms has devised and tested an eating quality system for beef that selects reserve-grade prime beef cuts for the high-value food service, restaurant and catering sector, both here and overseas. Farmers receive detailed feedback on the grade outcomes of their prime cattle, which could ultimately help to improve their breeding and management strategies.
The EQ system is a system where we measure attributes of a carcass that allows us to stream and control the quality of cuts going into our different programs. And it enables us to deliver a consistent level of quality every time to our consumers. This is focused on prime animals, prime steers, prime heifers, for the traditional prime cuts of meat, targeting obviously a food service trade and restaurants and the like. We've built this system with a focus on beef. Beef traditionally has got the most variation in regards to eating quality, and that's sometimes related to the age of the animal at the point of processing, whereas lamb and other animals are much younger, and so the inconsistency you get is tighter in regards to range. So this has been a real challenge for beef, and this is why we've delivered this program for beef only at this stage. We've got a really strong marketing team within our head office in Dunedin, and we're developing the Silver Fern Farms brand. Alongside that brand, we need these sub-brands or programs that then represent the individual types of classes of meat. So in this case, we've built a brand called our Reserve program, and this is targeted at our food service clients. So we're really focused on the end consumer. We believe strongly that we've got to deliver a product that the consumer wants, that delivers on their expectations, and ultimately a product they're prepared to pay more money for. If we want to make the industry sustainable for our farmers and for ourselves, we're focused on developing value through quality and premium products. We're at Silver Fern Farms, Belfast beef plant, just north of Christchurch. In the months that we've launched the new grading system, we've encouraged and brought a large number of our customers and consumers into our plants to explain the new grading system. These carcasses are what we call cold bones, so they've been chilled generally for 24 hours before we then do a carcass assessment on each of those carcasses around the quality attributes for our eating quality or EQ grading system, as we're calling it. At the end of the slaughtering process, we obviously weigh the animal, we get a carcass weight, we also assess the muscle conformation, and the NATE or EID information is transferred into our barcode system. We don't allow HGB, hormone growth promoting cattle. We want grass-fed cattle. So those are criteria that have to be met pre-chiller before the carcasses can be assessed. Once the carcass is in here, we do a pH measurement in the eye muscle to establish the pH, which also has a correlation with meat colour, but it's around final eating quality. We make an assessment of the marbling or the intermuscular fat. We measure at the same point in every carcass, so it's between the 12th and 13th rib. Every carcass, we open up the eye muscle at that point, and that's the assessment. We also measure the meat colour of the eye muscle at this point, and that's again using a similar system with some coloured chits. These are internationally recognised standards in regards to the assessment of these attributes, so we've purchased the rights to use those assessment tools. And finally, in this section, we measure the fat colour at this point. We measure ossification. Ossification is the process of cartilage changing to bone. And you can just start to see some ossification in there. That's an indication of maturity. Historically, we've measured the number of teeth and wear in the mouth of an animal as an indication of maturity. Ossification is a lot more accurate as it takes into account stress and how that can accelerate the maturation process of the carcass. Obviously, as the carcass becomes more mature, the muscles become stronger, fundamentally tougher from an eating experience. We had 38 scientists working with us with Texas Tech in America and Australia. So what we built is taking 97,000 samples of beef, and we've correlated that into an algorithm or a computer system that allows us to put this information in to give us not only a tenderness assessment, but also flavour and juiciness, some correlation around overall eating experience. So the inputs that we're putting into our system is giving us an overall eating experience outcome as opposed to just one attribute. The farmer receives from us the traditional kill information, being the meat classification grades, and then obviously a carcass weight. On top of that, we've created a summary report in a quite a visual way to give them feedback on each of the attributes that we're measuring contributing to our overall eating quality score in that grade. So we're showing the farmer the worst animal of his line, the best animal, the average of his line, which is probably most important related to that trait and his mob. So with that feedback, hoping to give them some tools for on-farm decisions to one, either improve their strike rate within our program, which has got some financial benefits. We pay for those in our Reserve Premier Selection program. Committed suppliers, we have a 25% premium above the market. So there's a reasonably, we think, significant premium there and opportunity, and if there's ways in which we can improve the strike rate and obviously allow us to have more product to put into the market, then there's some really positive attributes there. What we're hoping is that they will look at not only their genetic selection, which is obviously part of this, but also the on-farm management. And we've already identified some opportunities around farmers that have provided us different lines of stock with different outcomes, but similar genetic base. And within that, it's been really interesting that we've identified some of that pre-slaughter activity on farm, particularly the 30 days leading up to processing, is becoming really important. And we're seeing that affect some of the results, particularly in this case, pH and meat colour, quite significantly on mixing of mobs and on-farm activity.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.